My last tutorial dealt with moving data between HTML pages. It has been a while since I've done a tutorial specific to HTML. So I wanted to do one more. I want to talk about styling HTML pages using JavaScript. Welcome to another tutorial from All Things JavaScript, where we help bridge the gap between novice and expert. With all the frameworks and libraries now available for front-end development, the basics of using JavaScript for CSS styling get forgotten. But I think they are still important to remember because, for example, if you're going to do something simple, something small, you don't want to load a large library or framework just for that, especially when you can do it with vanilla JavaScript. So I'm going to go through a few ways to use JavaScript in order to manipulate CSS styling. Let's first take a look at the 3 ways that are possible. So first, every DOM element has a style attribute. So if you select a DOM element from the HTML file, you have a style attribute which you can modify. And you can modify it with any CSS style definition. So that's the first one we'll look at. Second, we'll look at working with the actual classes that are assigned to HTML DOM elements. So there is a way within JavaScript to manipulate those classes, to add and remove, to toggle them. We're going to look at that next. These are the 2 that you'll use most. The third one you may not use, perhaps for testing purposes, or there might be situations where it comes in handy, but you can also work with the style sheets that's assigned to an HTML page. And so we'll look at that really quickly at the end. So first, modifying inline styles. So let me start off, well, first let me go to the console here, and I'm going to select this first bullet item here. And we're going to place it in a variable b1. I'll just use getElementById. The ID for that is b1. So now we have b1 defined. We can see that that is the correct attribute. It shows up there for us. Now notice I can now do .style. And if I press return after doing .style, we get a CSS style declaration, and we can look in that and see what has been defined about that particular attribute. The other thing that's nice about this is it shows us what the CSS style definitions look like in JavaScript. For example, let me jump to a style sheet really quick. Notice that there are multiple definitions that use a hyphen. Well, we can't do that in JavaScript. That gets interpreted as an operator for subtracting. So what you do is you eliminate the hyphen and then go to title case. So it would be margin, uppercase L, left. So that's what you would do instead. So there we have the style. Now, using another dot, I can modify that style however I want. So let's look at a few of those. So first, I'll do b1.style.color. And I'm going to set that equal to, now any value you use is a string. And so it needs to be within quotes. I'm going to put a hex number to represent the color. Now let's see what that changes that to. And notice it gets a different color up here. So we just changed the color. Now let's do one of those definitions that include a hyphen. So let's change the font size. So notice we do the title case, and we set that equal to, once again, that needs to be in quotes. Let's go with 60 pixels. And there it got very large. One more. We'll do margin left this time. And I'm going to set that equal to 500 pixels. And there it adjusted the margin left. So you can see you can quickly change an individual DOM element using the style attribute of that element once you've selected it. All right, let me refresh this page, get everything back to the way it was. Get our 3 bullet items up there. And now we're going to talk about classes. Now, JavaScript has a class name property that is available for each DOM element. And that lists the class that is assigned to that DOM element. However, that can be difficult to work with. There is a class list property which is much easier to work with because it comes with some additional methods. For example, add, remove, toggle, and contains. You can add and remove tags. You can toggle a tag. It either turns it off and on, adds it if it's not there, removes it if it is there. And you can also do contains to check to see if a particular class is assigned to a DOM element. So let's select our first item bullet and let's do some things with class list. We'll go up here, grab that one more time so we now have B1 defined. Now I'm going to add a class first. And I'm going to add a blue text class, this one right here. I'm going to add that. So we're going to do b1.classList dot, and now we can use those methods. And here's the add method. And what do we want to add? Blue text. Notice what that did to it. Made it smaller, changed the color. So that's what that blue text. Now we can easily remove that as well. So if I come up here and change the add to remove, it goes back to the way it was. Now toggle, let me just show you toggle. Since it's not currently applied to B1, it's going to add it. Now if we do toggle again, and notice that it returns a true, meaning that it is now applied. If we do it again, it returns a false, meaning it's no longer there. And it goes back to the way we were. So that is toggled. Now the last one I want to do is contains. This simply returns a true or false depending on whether the class is a part of that. So here we get a false because blue text has not been assigned there. With it assigned, we would get a true. So that's a class list, and that can be very helpful when dealing with entire classes. Now I also mentioned you can also work with an entire style sheet. So let me show you that really quick. If I do document.stylesheets, basically what I get back is a style sheet list. And this will show me all the style sheets that have been assigned to this HTML file. There currently is only one. It gives me the href to it, where it is located. If there had been more, it would show up in position 1. We have position 0 and position 1. So this is an array-like object that's returned here. All right. Now we can disable those style sheets. That's something we can do with it. Let me just show you that. Now first we got to select the style sheet we want, and so that's in position 1, just like arrays, just like we work with arrays. Disabled equals true, and you'll see what it does to this HTML file. It completely messes it up. So let's set that back to false, which will enable it again. And there we have our style sheet back. Now this is probably not something you want to do much manipulating with. However, if you had multiple style sheets on an HTML file and you were trying to troubleshoot where certain CSS things were happening, you might want to disable a style sheet or two to help you figure things out. So that is 3 ways to work with CSS styling using JavaScript. Not something you're going to use every day, but it can be very important for small or simple situations where you may need it. Now before we're done here, please hit the like button. It can help others on YouTube find this tutorial. And if you want to dive deeply into JavaScript, I provided discount links to all my courses in the description section. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button or click the circle link on the left, the one with my face. I release a new tutorial each week. You can also click the video link in the center to access another tutorial right away, or click the link on the right to visit my website, allthingsjavascript.com, for a complete list of tutorials and other resources. Thanks for watching.